It's a moment of reflection, thoughts, and processing as I run over the conversation that happened earlier this morning. My phone rang and I answered it, and typical for the persons calling from banks in Jamaica these days. They ask for your identity without identifying themselves, neither where they're calling from nor who they are. And you think about it. My phone rings, it's my phone, and you're asking if I am who I am. Why am I going to identify myself as who I am to a complete stranger on the other line? You wonder, did these people who work in the bank get any training? It's not the first time, it's not the second time. And I had to ask the gentleman on the line, and who are you? That is when he indulged me and found it appropriate to identify that he was calling from the bank. Totally unacceptable. I have discovered that there is no regard for the fact that if you work in the major earner, Jamaica's number one earner of foreign exchange, which is tourism, and based on this COVID 19 virus, you have found yourself unemployed with no real way of getting new employment, that this is of absolutely no consequence to our financial institutions. Now, the ads that they run suggest that they're there for you, they'll help you. But what really is the truth? My experience has proven to be very, very interesting. And this has been an ongoing thing since COVID came in. Because you see, back in the day, banks made their determination of your financial situation based on your track record. And usually, if you divert from what was your established track record, that would be a place to focus attention and to say something has changed, something has gone wrong. What can we do to help? Not now, not these days. So I'm trying to not use the word harassed, but I can't find a replacement. The calls have started coming, and there's absolutely no heart in it, because when you say to someone on the other line who's doing a job, thank God they still have employment, my industry. No, this is not my office, this is not my business. My industry has shut down. My industry is under strain. My industry is not recovering, not rebounding. And based on the instructions of all the health agencies, including the WHO, World Health Organization, the populace of the planet, all 8 billion people on planet Earth, have been advised to keep travel to a minimum. You would wonder if these bankers live under a rock. One call I got some time ago, um, the young lady who obviously is just doing a job, and I constantly have to put that out there because there's no thought going on in these conversations. I don't think so. They're given a pile of delinquents or near delinquents or to be delinquent accounts, and they are given instructions as to the nature of the call to make. And voila, here we go. Now, when I indicated to this particular young lady that the industry within which I function, which is tourism, is totally out, particularly the fact that I am a cruise agent, and of the 400 vessels that sail the seven seas, the oceans of the world, there's no cruising going on. There's nobody to put on the ships. And there's also the situation of no sale orders and all the other things that would prevent movement and travel from happening. The response, the thought process is a staggering question. Do you think you'll have some money today, tomorrow, next week? Can you give us a definite time when you will catch up, make this payment, change situations? A definite date. That is what they want to hear, a definite date. My $1 million question to this particular lady was, if I give you a definite date, I would lie. Because based on the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, based on CLIA, Cruise Line International Association, based on all the factors worldwide, cruising isn't happening. Resorts are opening marginally. It's still a touch and go trial and error. They are being forced to operate at minimal capacity. And even then, persons aren't traveling. They will run an online special to pull business in because they too have bills to pay. They too are battling with these same banks who have decided they've waited long enough for the financial obligations to resume. And so they are now pressuring everyone. Whatever you do, time to pay your bills. Now, we're not talking about people or entities who are by nature delinquent. We're talking about persons who, based on what has happened, they have been held hostage, and so they can't even move to the left or to the right. But that is of little regard to these banks or financial institutions in Jamaica. And it is just amazing at how cold and how callous the responses have been. Now, I think of even before I get to that, I said to the gentleman this morning, so, sir, how would it impact you if somewhere after this call it comes out that a note was left by a customer who received a call from you, that the frustration is too high, the lack of ability to turn to the left or to the right has now forced her not to be able to move forward. The stress of life, the distress of the situations have become unbearable, unsurmountable. The pressure that you are now bringing to bear on her is of such that suicide is a likely option. How would you feel? Now, much to my shock, but I don't know why I'm shocked, because this is the world in which we live. The gentleman's response was, we could have asked you to pay the full amount, not just a part. It blew my mind because it spoke to the level of disconnection that exists in this person. I'm tempted to say human, and I'm just so choosing my words carefully because it blows my mind. And mental health is playing a serious role in the thought processes of people as our situations as we know it have drastically changed. Now, on the heels of that conversation, I read an article just within the last 2 or 3 minutes, which was the front page. Well, not sure if the front page, it's online, so we don't know what page anything is on these days. But the caption says, hotel worker rebounds after suicide thoughts. Beautiful girl. And it speaks of the deepening of the economic hardship and uncertainty which has been caused by this particular young lady being laid off in March due to COVID-19. 29 years old, resident in Montego Bay, and the suicide thoughts have come. Now, my question is this: how do the banks, and this is all about the banking sector right now, how do the banks plan to, I'm trying to find that word, but what's the bank's plan for their clients, their good clients who have been blindsided by this virus? Nowhere to turn, savings depleted, bills are piling up. The banks will not drop their interest rates. They will not give a deferral. Oh, and of course, my situation was the classification of my loan was not one that qualified for a deferral of payments. Even though all the way through this pandemic, payments have been going in a bit staggered, but they've been going in. And in the last few months, when things got really challenging, there was a fall off. And the application for a deferral was submitted. Little did I know that it could have been rejected and a demand be placed on the loan being covered. Of course, the loan is insured, and the insurance for the loan was taken out of the initial payments. So prior to the principal being serviced, prior to interest being taken, the insurance was one of the first things that was taken. And so I really want to bring to task the whole value of insurance coverage and the reasons for it. So I remember a conversation with another banker, and the conversation went straight to insurance. But the facility is insured. Why are you breathing down my neck? Oh, the insurance is in the event of your death. I'm going to leave this thought with everybody today. Does this mean then that death by suicide, and remember, I do have a background in insurance, and insurance is forfeited if the insured committed suicide. Does the bank believe that death by suicide will cause the funds that were insured to be repaid by the insurance provider? Something to think about. Now, Sherry says will be a commentary, and you can share some of your own thoughts as to other things that you'd like Sherry says to touch on. But I think I'm going to spend a little time around this whole mental health issue. Matters of the heart, matters of the life, the dehumanizing implications that established institutions use against the Jamaican population to get us to conform, to line up. There are thoughts that persons will share in a very casual setting, but not in a recorded official environment. But the thoughts, nevertheless, will flow through the minds of persons. And you wonder how much is too much, how far is too far. When will the banks in Jamaica, we hear there are 8 commercial banks, when will they realize that, for one, the money they hold is the customer's money? And yes, they will jump in and they will now say, and of course, the customers have entrusted their funds to the banks because they expect to get a return on their investment. For another time, we should be able to talk about the no interest payments that have become the norm for the past too many years. So we lend the bank our money in the form of a deposit to a checking or savings account. And unless you have a tangible figure, you would not be doing a fixed account. And the minuscule amount that is made available to you, the customer, is of such that you're not seeing the value of this money. When inflation, depreciation hits it, you of course are also losing value. But you have bought into the thought process of placing your funds in the hands of a financial institution, for which they will now lend at interest. Yes, the bank has an obligation to the depositor. But do we ever pay attention to the before and the after tax profits in the billions? And this has happened from time immemorial until now. And for a short period of 7 months, the virus has rocked that boat. And suddenly, they cannot afford to take a loss. They must squeeze the throats of the struggling Jamaican who is just as flabbergasted, as lost, seeking direction as they are, because this virus has thrown us all a curveball. Are we suddenly lazy and wanting to be unproductive? Or is this a real crisis? One where you paddle your own canoe, you sink or you swim. Let's ponder these things. I really want us to talk about these things because the issue is a matter of life and death.
Until the philosophy which old one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Everywhere is war. It's a war that until they're no longer first class and second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. Miss a war that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race. This a war that until that day, the dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, rule of international morality,